bad news, fans of this podcast. In today's
What?
podcast, Judd is dumb. Was that a good intro?
It says dead.
Judd is dead. He looks it.
Jordan's
Sure looks it.
dead. Jordan's dead in this one, guys. I am dead in this one, actually. I'm tired. I'm really tired.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Coming up in today's podcast, all sorts of junk. Basically, there's some stuff to do with boxing. There was a big old fight, a big old controversy, and a bunch of idiots involved in some boxing stuff. And years ago, I sold a hat. That's an interesting story, I promise.
Wow.
It's an interesting story. Oh, and also, I don't know if we ever talked about this, but Judd's got headphones that work. I forgot whether we actually talked about that, actually, once.
Okay,
But,
they don't work very well. There's like a slight buzzing in the back.
Oh, great, cool.
So
And
they
then
don't work well.
the rest of the stuff's just fun hanging out. You know, just hang out with us for once. You never
I
call.
saved-
Why'd you never call us? Like, we've been waiting. Why don't you just come and hang
never
out with
call.
us?
Why don't you
And
call
your
me?
mother.
Your father's worried sick.
Exactly. So,
I've got one for you.
okay, got one what?
Got one for you. I've got one for you. I've got
Okay,
one. I've
go
got
on.
one for you.
Go on. This sounds like a fucking Seinfeld joke setup.
I saved a life. And the
Fuck! You can't just drop that one. And then...
I saved a life. I was walking back onto site, onto the building site that I work on, and as I was walking around, I saw this little fuss ball, this little ball of fuss, like curled up
so
on the
not an
floor.
important life.
A real life. This is a real life. But I didn't think it was a real life at first. I thought I'd been doing insulation in roofs like all week, so I thought it was just a bit of insulation. So I was just gonna pick it up and like lob it in the like full send it into a skip. But as I went to pick it up, I realized it had a tail, and I was like, oh, hold on a second, we got a little critter here. We've got a little creature, a creature of the woods. So I was wondering like why it wasn't just running away. Because usually, like, if a mouse, like, even hears you coming, like, anywhere near them, they'll just scatter. But this was just, like, curled up in a ball. So I tried to scare, because the bit that was in was like there's a bunch of machinery and stuff that drives around on this site.
Have you
so I
even
was
said
like,
what
well,
this thing was yet? I'm only half
It's a
listening.
mouse.
Right.
I said mouse.
Okay,
I did say
I wasn't
mouse.
really listening. I was trying to like discreetly tell you to turn your microphone down a little bit without having to say it this time. But
No, you're gonna have to
that
say
made
it.
me miss whatever the fuck you were saying. I'm sorry. Okay, carry on.
A mouse, a tiny little mouse, a baby mouse. So I wanted to move the mouse basically because it was near where a bunch of machinery was driving around. I didn't want it to get squashed, the little thing. So I saw that underneath it's like it's not like
Armpit?
because it's like you wouldn't call it a leg, so it'd be sort of like
In its leg
a
pit.
leg pit in its leg pit. Yeah,
fuck
it looked like it was bleeding a bit from its leg pit. So I was like, oh, okay, so
What a
that
weird
I know
sentence.
I hate that, but it was bleeding from its leg pit. So I was like, okay, that's why it's not running away then, because it's like in pain. So I managed to, and I know what you're gonna say. I washed my hands immediately after. I managed to scoop him up. I managed to scoop the little fellow up, and I took him to safety. I took the little guy to safety. That's it, pretty much. I saved a little field. I saved a little field mouse from being run over.
You framed that as if you'd fucking saved
know.
a co-worker's life.
I know,
There was going to be a bunch of
that-
pipes drop on him and squish him, and
that
you
was-
jumped
that was
and
the
pushed them
point.
out the way. God,
That was the
fine.
point. I'll send you a picture. There he is. There's a picture of the mouse.
Then took a picture of your hard work.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I'm like, there he is. I put him under a tree, away from all the machinery. There he is. I saved that little fella's life.
And then as soon as you walked away, a big bird came and clawed its brains out.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I'm like, well, I'll set him right here. I'll say I can save him from the machines. I cannot save him from nature. So.
Fair enough. You could have taken that little fucker home to eat him. You could have been munching on fried mouse right now.
I was showing it, and like a couple of other guys were like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's like a little mouse that was just like over there that's hurt. I was just gonna move it somewhere else." I totally should have like in front of them just gone.
Oh god! Just started munching into it. Oh god!
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Crunches.
That would be terrifying. God. Well, at least someone's nice in this life. At least someone's decent. Well done, Judd, because most people are fucking terrible. We're back on theme now. It is. Nice. Thanks for recognising my hard work there. We're back on the theme of everything bad, everything being bad now. Everything's badly. Podcast is badly. My words just then, as I tripped over them, were badly. The grammar of me even saying how badly things are is quite badly. I've been badly, is what I've been. I've been, as is usual, I'm quite a depressed person in general, if I'm being honest. And, you know, I ain't been doing well, if I'm being, and, you know, just in general, for a long time, actually, for probably, well over a year at this point, year and a half, probably.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm trying to sort myself out, things like that. It's very hard, but I'm gonna take things one step at a time, because the things that I want to sort out sorry, chat Saskia. If you listen to the last podcast, there were people in the fucking comment section being absolute idiots, and we schooled them. And chat's asking if anyone came back to rebuke what we said about them. No, not at all. Go listen to the previous podcast if you want to know what that's about. Yeah, so I've been trying to take it one step at a time, and the things I want to kind of do is get fitter. You know, I wouldn't mind. There's some relationship stuff I wouldn't mind improving. My relationship's completely fine. There's nothing to worry about there. But there's some, you know, I could better that. Career, and like the job I do, it's for a normal job. I don't mind it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I wake up every morning. I'm like, I've got to fucking fix computers again. Someone's gonna have broken something again. It's like, and always people like turn on the computer, discover something's wrong normally because of what they've done, and then they'll message me first thing. So I normally get a bit of an influx of messages first thing as well. So I always start my phone for the first half an hour on Do Not Disturb until I'm like kind of ready to receive messages about problems. So you know, I wake up kind of with it's not completely awful, the amounts of dread, but you know, waking up and kind of dreading the vast majority of your day nearly every day, that's not great. So I'd rather be doing something else. If I were being compensated like significantly for it, I wouldn't necessarily mind so much. And it's not like I'm paid like pittance. It's not like I'm fucking struggling to eat every day, but I'm not being paid a lot. Like, it's, you know, I'm an IT technician. You know, I wouldn't expect it to be paid loads. So I'd like a bit of a better job as well. I'd like to stop wanking. That's something that I think's really bad for you.
Wow, okay,
it's a bit of a weird thing to admit, but fuck it. I genuinely think it should be talked about more, is to masturbating. It's genuinely really bad for you, and I don't get how in today's society there's so much, like, if you know, it's healthy for you to masturbate and things like that. It's fucking not. It's not. You're just genuinely not supposed to be doing that. And especially looking at porn as well.
You in the front, get your hand off get it off your dick.
Stop wanking. Stop it.
Stop!
My window's wide open, so people walking past my house can hear me screaming to myself, "Stop wanking!" It's kind of what I've been doing, actually, internally.
That is what you've been doing.
And looking at porn. Porn is a big problem. It's a way bigger problem than at least people in Western and our cultures are willing to admit. So, yeah, that's something I want to get out. I want to get healthier, find something, most importantly, the last thing is find something that I fill my time with that's like my own time. Find something that I find enjoyable, I fill my own time with. Previously, that used to be music, for example. I used to do a lot of music, so which obviously you'll be able to kind of Judd'll know what I mean by filling my free time with something. When I say music was a good example, music's essentially betrayed me at this point. So I kind of need something else to kind of be about, some purpose essentially that I want to do with my life.
Why don't you just fucking start smoking some of that weed?
I bet a lot of people do that as a coping mechanism. But Judd, the reason why is because we've done multiple tier lists on insufferable people at this point, and people who make their entire lives about the ganja are absolutely insufferable. Yeah. So no,
it's just the worst.
So yeah, that's all. That's all the things that I've been trying to do. So something that seemed like a good idea kind of almost could kill 3 birds with one stone with that. There's a boxing gym near me, and I was planning on signing up to that because that'll help with getting fit for a start. I've already started eating healthier, but that'll help with getting fitter for a start. Then also that could be something to do with my time that, feels like a bit more of a purpose to be the thing that I enjoy. Because I already enjoy it, but, I can sink myself into that a bit more. And then thirdly, even to do with career, this is a lot less likely of an option thing. Even to do with a career, I've kind of thought about, I wonder what it'd be like to do like boxing refereeing.
Okay.
So I thought, who knows, if I'm interested enough in that, maybe that could end up being a job that I enjoy more. I'm not thinking about that, to be honest, but those are all the possibilities with it. So that's all kind of a big lead up to what I actually want to tell you was I went to sign up to the boxing gym. So it's not far away, 10 minutes walk. The thing is, it doesn't have a website or anything like that. All I could find was a Facebook page. So I went on the Facebook page to figure out what the prices were and what time classes were on to see if I could even do it, because I know some boxing gyms are really expensive. The one gym I went to for when I had my fight originally, it was like over £50 a month. And I just thought, I can't be paying that, to be honest, for something, because I would only want to do it once a week, maybe twice a week, so as to not overwhelm myself with it as well. And 4 times for £50 a month, it just seems like a lot. So that's why I couldn't go back to that one. So I needed it to be cheap enough too. So I went on the Facebook page and pinned post a timetable, right? The timetable says, basically, the classes I was interested in, Monday and Wednesdays, starting at 6:30, right? So I thought... But the problem was, there was nowhere to be seen the prices. And I was like, that's a bit annoying. What I'll do then is I'll just walk down on an evening when I know that it's open, during these class times, and I'll speak to the front desk. I'll say, do I need to sign up regularly, and how much is it, basically?
Yeah.
So I wander down on a Monday. I get there, it's all shut.
Okay,
it's all locked. So I'm like, what's happened here? So I went back on the Facebook page and I scrolled down one post to the latest post, the one post underneath the pinned post, and it said, "We're shut today, we'll be resuming as normal tomorrow." And I was thinking, the one day that they just shut, I happened to walk down, try and do this. So I walked back home, and so I thought, right, okay, I'll go the next day. So I walked back down the next day, and I went and I said, "Hello, I'm interested in doing some classes. I'm wondering what the prices is, and do I have to sign up regularly?" So they said £3 a class. Fantastic. Okay, that's really, really, really good deal. I'm happy with that. And you don't need to sign up. You can just turn up and pay £3 each time, or you can pay. I think they said. I don't know if it was like £10 either a week or a month. I can't remember what it was. I wasn't interested in that one anyway. So they then said, this goes on forever, I'm sorry. They then said, but the times are changing for classes next week. So I thought, it's a good job I've come down, because that timetable said 6:30 they start. So they said, keep an eye out on the Facebook page, because before next week, we'll post the new times.
Okay.
and the time will probably be 5 p.m. start time. So I'm thinking, that's not great, because that's when I'm still supposed to be working at that point, really. So I thought I'll keep an eye out for the times. And they said if it's not that, it'll just be, it'll be normal times. Week goes by. It's Tuesday night. No post. Nothing's been posted. And I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, should I just go at the normal time then? So I thought, right, Wednesday morning, I messaged the Facebook page, thinking, right, I'll message them, check what the times are for this evening, I'll explain, everything. Yeah. They didn't respond for hours. It was like 3:30. They ended up responding. I sent the message at maybe 10:15 in the morning. They responded at 3:30 or something like that. And let me double check exactly what they said. 1 second. I just, I explained, I wanted to come down, blah, blah, blah. I'm new, so I don't actually know when it is. Can you just confirm what the time is for tonight? And they said, still old times, cheers.
Great.
So I was like, oh, okay, well, at least now I know that it's going to be the one that I saw, the pinned timetable, starting at 6:30. Okay, I'm going to set off at 6:15, gives me an extra 5 minutes, I'll pick up cash on the way. Great. So I walk down, and I get there at 6:25, which to me is the perfect time. You don't want to be so early that people think you're weird, but you want to be slightly earlier than the time something's happening, because you want to be able to prepare, especially if you're new to it. So get there at 6:25, same lady on the desk, and I'm like, I'm hoping I've got the right time. She went, you haven't. And I went, what? She said, you've missed it. And I said, but I even messaged. I felt like such a helpless child at that point. I said, but I even messaged. and she said, oh, who messaged you? And I said, and I didn't want to just tell her. No one fucking told me. They just said, still old times, cheers. It doesn't say. It just said that, He said, oh, I ain't got access to that. I don't really know. And I was like, well, what do I do now then? So now she then said, right, that I need to keep an eye on the Facebook page again, which I'm on right now, by the way, and they've still not posted this timetable since yesterday, and because the times might change again. But she said that right now the time is 5:00. Right now is time. She said it was changing, but actually it was already that. And not only that, it had merged with the kids class that was before it, which I don't want to do. I'm not willing to do an adults boxing class at the same time as a kids boxing class going on. I don't want that. So, but then she also said, but it's probably going to be changing to 6 next week.
Oh, okay.
So neither of the two that it already has been. So I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? So I kind of looked at her like, huh. She ended up just saying, if you want, you can just leave your phone number and I'll text you at night before, to confirm what it is. So I'm expecting next week I'll be telling you the same tale. She'll have told me exactly what time it is. I'll turn up at that time and she'll go, you've missed it. Because what the fuck? How can no one organise anything?
I don't know. It's fucking... It's so stupid.
But that's not the only boxing officials that have done weird stuff in the past week. I think this was in the past week. Yeah, pretty much. There was a big old boxing fight for the heavyweight championship of the world.
The entire world?
Yep, the whole of it. Alexander Usyk fought Daniel Dubois for 3 of the heavyweight world championship belts. The only one that they weren't fighting for is Tyson Fury's belt, because Tyson Fury's turned into a massive pussy and doesn't want to fight Usyk. So, in this fight, there was a controversial moment where Daniel Dubois, who it judged for please don't be offended at the description I'm about to give to Judd, so he knows which fight is which. Daniel Dubois is from the UK. He's the black guy. Usyk is from the Ukraine. He's the white guy in this fight.
Okay.
I'm sharing my screen with Judd so he can see. At one point, Daniel Dubois throws a shot downstairs, and it was ruled by the referee as a low blow. So you're not allowed to punch people in the nuts, basically.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of controversy where people have said, no, it was a legitimate body shot, and Usyk went down. Like, because Usyk did go down when he got hit with it. But if he went down because he got punched in the nuts, then that's fine, and he's supposed to be given 5 minutes recovery time if he wants it all. He doesn't need to use it all if he doesn't want to. I'm going to go frame by frame for Judd so he can see whether he thinks this is a low blow or not. So Judd, with his uninformed opinion, is going to give his opinion first, and then me, as someone who's into boxing and has, as a result of this, done a lot of research as to what should be a low blow and shouldn't be, I'll tell you what I think about it. So here's each frame, Judd. You can see his hand coming in.
Yeah, it's a body shot. That's not where your cock is.
Okay. Body shot. Judd's going body shot.
I'm going body shot because
I understand why I think overall, if I had to pick the general consensus out of everyone, they're saying it's a body shot. And are you
going to call me stupid and fat and wrong?
Yeah, you are a stupid fat idiot for thinking that. You absolute dumbass. You fucking moron. No, so a lot of it's technically it's up to the referee's discretion. If they think there might be, a lot of referees actually tell each fighter beforehand, and sometimes in the ring, the point where a body shot is on the body. This referee didn't do that. Okay, so that's a bit of a problem. Now, here's why I think this was a low blow. If you go frame by frame, right here is the frame that's important, Judd. There's a moment where Daniel Dubois' gloves clip the athletic cup that Usyk's wearing, and then it hits the body. Everyone's using the moment that it hits the body as the point that is supposed to be counted as the low blow. Now, I think that is a bit debatable as to whether that's a low blow or not, because generally kind of thought of shot line as the kind of like, you know, universal standard is the belly button, is one of the universal things. I think that it should be the hips, relatively, but that's up for debate. Half of his hand, maybe just over half of his hand, is below the belly button, even at the point where he hits the body. Usyk's shorts are fairly high here. It covers his belly button, but only just. Like, you can just see the top of Usyk's belly button before the punch hits it.
You have spent hours staring at this guy's belly, haven't you? Like going, is this? I
have. I have spent at least half an hour looking at this clip. So, a lot of Dubois' hands below the belly button. If you're using that universal standard, it depends what you're saying. Does the entire hand have to be above the belly button to be a body shot? Does only a bit of the hand have to be above the belly button to be a body shot? Does the entire hand have to be below the belly button to be a low blow or not? It's that, even that's up for debate. The reason why it's not a debate, though, is because there's a moment where you can see Usyk's athletic cup go upwards in the fabric of his shorts before the body shot hits. Do you see what I'm saying as well?
Yeah. This moment, I get what you're saying,
not moved. Yeah. I know, obviously, this is bad for podcast listeners, but obviously reactions. Anyway, this moment is athletic cup where his junkie is not moved. This, it has moved upwards.
Yeah.
You see it? This moment, it's moved up a lot. His athletic cup's moved up a lot here. From there to there, it's moved up a lot, and then the body shot hits. So, this is why, in my book, I think it was a low blow, but, you know...
And he should lose his job immediately. He should never fight ever again.
I'm willing to kind of have my mind changed on that, and I think it's one of those things where it's just like, you can't fully say it's really, really not clear cut. The fact that it's even brought up as a debate to anyone obviously shows that it's up for debate. I say low blow's fine. The other thing that people say is like, it wouldn't massively have mattered anyway. Even if it was a body shot that dropped him, Usyk would have gotten up and won the fight anyway. And I agree, but I think it would have been a lot harder for him to win. But I think he would have won. So it don't really even matter, basically. So yeah. Another question from chat though: have you played FIFA Street before? Do you want to give a quick thoughts on FIFA Street, Judd?
We both love FIFA Street. I never really liked any of the FIFA games, but it's purely my favorite FIFA game just because you can run up to somebody and punch them in the back of the head. It's so funny.
I remember when we played FIFA Street and we discovered fouls were legal for some reason. I don't know why. And one of the fouls is just going and just GTAing someone in the skull.
You're just punch him in back of the head and take the ball.
Wait, I just want to. This feels like that can't be true. Have we remembered this wrong? FIFA Street.
No, that's right. You could just punch people. It was awesome.
Can you punch in FIFA Street?
You have. I'm sure you can.
Someone needs to tell us whether that's right or not. But that's what we remember, at least. We have a spreadsheet. If you don't know, we have a spreadsheet where me and Judd rate video games out of 100. FIFA Street 1 and 2 are on here, but I've put them down as a combined game because they're just the same game. I've done the same thing for FIFA as a whole series. They're the same game, guys. Come on, they're close enough to be marked on by our books, and this literally is our books. They're the same game. So, do you want to rate FIFA Street out of 100, Judd?
Yeah, it's still a FIFA game, so I'm not going to give it super high results, but I give it like a 68. You
68. That's pretty fucking high.
Yeah,
that's like you should probably play this.
But you should probably play it just to run up to somebody and punch him in the back of the head once.
I swear, I feel like we're remembering this wrong.
No,
I can remember it. Like, I can picture Ronaldo fucking sculling someone, like cracking someone's brain. I can picture how it looked in my brain, but I swear we've got some sort of, what's it called? The Bernstein effect or the Mandela effect. That's the one.
Yeah, the Mandela effect.
So, yeah, I don't know. I gave it 56 because, that's the only good bit about it, really. Is seeing football players just fucking punch each other and, fully just murder each other's limbs. But other than that, the actual game isn't that good.
No.
The overall score is 64, by the way. So, we're somewhere, we're close to that between the two of us. So, yeah, that's FIFA. I've got a story for you, Judd. It's to do with football, actually. FIFA was kind of involved. Yeah. It was. Picture this, Judd. It's when was that one? World Cup 2018.
Is this the 2018? It's coming home one.
It's the one where everyone was just chanting "It's coming home," and it was just the weather was brilliant in the summer. There was no COVID or anything like that.
Yeah.
COVID was just fucking a glint in its father's eye, as our dad would probably say. It was 2018. When it was happening, it felt like a shit year, didn't it? It felt like a really shit year. But now when I look back on it, 2018 was so fucking good. We did some really fun streams in 2018 as well. And we got where you'd come round and we'd get drunk and we'd play games. And I think we did Undertale in 2018, did we? Probably.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Even in 2018, the memes seemed really shit as well. But now looking back on them, they were good memes, actually. Somebody touch my spaghetti and Ugandan Knuckles.
Oh, no,
and the fucking, who do you think you are? You remember that one?
No.
There was, the Mia Khalifa song. There was, fucking, maybe I'll be Tracer. You're already Tracer.
It was a terrible year. It was an awful year.
It was a great year. I loved that year. The World Cup was going on then, and I went with some friends to the biggest sports bar in the town that we live in, called the Garrison, if you know of it. It's really quite big, actually, for a sports bar, isn't it? Probably not by a lot of other countries' standards, but for like small town, for a town in England it is. They had it on a big projector, and everyone. There's almost like a court, like an indoor courtyard thing, isn't there? It's hard to describe for people who've not been there, because there's the Garrison bar, and then it's like attached to the Garrison courtyard. But this courtyard has like doors going off of it, so there's a door that goes out to the street. There's a door at the back that goes towards like a beer garden. If you go up some like fire escape style stairs, there's a cocktail bar that's not the Garrison. It's a different place. Then there's another door off from the courtyard, goes up some actual stairs, and there's like two floors. The top floor has a barber's on it, which is where I go for my haircut, and I don't know what's on the middle floor. And then there's two other doors, one of which that goes to like a pizza place, one of which goes to a tattoo studio. So it's such a weird place. But anyway, it's quite big. Loads of people were there. It was packed. I believe it was when did we beat Sweden? Is that what it was? World Cup 2018, England versus Sweden. Yeah, it was definitely that one. It was when we beat Sweden, 7th of July. Everyone was really drunk. Okay. We were winning, we were up, we won 2-0, the spirits were high, beer was being chucked everywhere, because that's what people do for some reason when someone scores a goal, they wang their entire thing of beer up in the air.
And they go, oh, we just spent £4 on this way! And they throw it.
Yeah. I don't get it. I still kept my beers. But I was wearing a hat at this. Now, this seems like an unimportant detail, but it was an important detail. It was a plain black Vans hat. It was black, and it said Vans in white letters. Just plain logo. It was nothing special at all. And this dude, like, kept getting too close to our group, and he was obviously pissed. He was really drunk.
Yeah.
And he had a really broad Barnsley accent. And he was just like, he were almost starting to act like he was with us for some reason. And he were acting so weird. And eventually, towards the end of the match, it was like we weren't going to score any more goals. He said, "Oh, mate, can I buy you a hat?" And I'm like, why? And he went, can I buy it? He wouldn't tell me why. He said, I just can I buy it? And I was thinking, well, I do quite like this hat, so I would kind of like to keep it. But so I'll just offer him a stupid amount of money for it and see if he'll take it. And if he won't, fuck it, I'll keep my hat. I'm pretty sure I bought this hat for £15. It might have even been 10 or 12. So I said to him, all right, 40 quid.
Yeah.
Pretty expensive for such a plain hat. And he went, oh, okay. He thought it was going to cost more.
Wow.
And I was thinking, I was sus about this, because this guy was being weird to me already. Like, he was being weird around me. Not in, like, a friendly way either. I just felt a bit of, like, tricksiness. I think he felt a bit low-key-ish to me, So he got the money out, and I went to hand him the hat I said, I'll hand it at the same time. So, I can't just hand him the hat and he just wanders off with it. We did, and I wanted to wait for him to start releasing first. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to get scammed here. So he did, and then so I kind of just went, huh. I just gave him this hat. I went, huh. And he just put it on.
I love the idea of you both stood there, just ready to slowly pass these things back and forth, and there's really tense music playing in the background because both of you thinks the other's gonna do it first, and then you just pass them and go, oh.
We both thought we were scamming each other.
And you both went, oh.
But I figured that he must have wanted the hat to stop beer falling all over his head. But it was too late. It was soaked in beer. The match was literally 2 minutes from ending. I was thinking, what the fuck? So I made 40 quid off of that hat. So the next morning, I just bought the same hat again. And then it came. I've still got it.
God damn! Nice.
Thought that was quite funny. I've got another. Got a little quiz for you, Judd. This should be a fairly quick one. Recently, it was my girlfriend's mum's birthday, so we went round their house for some food and that, and her grandma was there, and we asked her grandma to say what she think a bunch of like Zoomer slang means. You know, a bunch of like internet kids slang means.
Yeah. Okay, all right, yeah.
So I wanted to see if you can figure that out as well.
Okay.
Because at this point, we are too old for this, if we're being honest. I keep thinking, I keep thinking I'm 27 for some reason. I'm 26. Like, I would understand thinking that you're the year younger than you are, because you just kind of forget you had your birthday or whatever. I can kind of understand that. Yeah. I just keep thinking I'm 27, and I'm not. I don't know why that keeps happening, but I'm 26. So, like, these are words that, like, fucking 15-year-olds should be using it. And, maybe 19-year-olds. But if you think about it, I'm, like, 7 years older than a 19-year-old at this point. So... we'll see. Right, here's the words. If you're in chat or if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify or anything like that, let us know how you did with these words. Here we go. We'll go through these.
Let us know, you freak.
Sorry, real quick. Chat's asking what we think of Blue Beetle. I haven't seen it. You seen it, Judd?
I haven't seen it.
No, I don't think I will see it either. I might see it when it's out.
No, I can't.
I'm going to be going to see Oppenheimer this weekend, though. So next week I'll probably talk to you about Oppenheimer. Anyway, here are the words. Lit.
Lit means that something is good or enjoy. It's like when we used to call something sick.
Yeah,
that's sick, bro. Oh, that's lit, bro.
Yeah, it's lit. Yeah, it's good. No cap.
Like, no cap means that you're not lying. No cap, bro. Like, bro. I hit that sweet ass. No cap.
Do you know the origins of that? By the way,
no, I don't, and I've never got it. I've never got that.
It's from Twitch.
Is it?
Yeah. So it's kappa is what you would put if you're like if you think someone's lying. Or if you're lying within your sentence or something, it's the it's like the kind of smug lying emote. Yeah. So cap is like short for kappa, and then no cap is not like, because other words like, why would it mean that? It's not like to do. It's nothing like the word lying. Yeah. So I don't. If I'm just a disclaimer, I don't actually know that for certain, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty confident that
makes sense. Like, at least that gives me a reason. Like,
low key.
Low key, right? People use this wrong. Like it's like people using literally wrong. Low key means that like something's on the down low. Like it's like a slight sort of feeling. Like, I low key enjoy the movie Barbie. Would be saying like, oh yeah, I can kind of dig it. I can kind of
It's like subtly. Yeah. It's like kind of a subtly preposition.
But the thing is, people use it wrong because they'll be like, "Oh, I low key love this," and it's like, "Well, no, that sounds like you really love that's high key. That's high key loving something." For that one as well.
Yeah. I think people just kind of misuse it. It's like peak. Do you remember when that was a word? It's kind of gone now. And peak was like, there was a debate as to whether if something's peak, is it like good or is it bad? And I still don't know. Right. do you remember that? Did you hear about that?
Well, I always thought peak just meant good. So
it doesn't mean peak like the peak, like the peak of a mountain. Like the summit. It don't mean like that. Like because if you say someone's at the peak of their game, it's like the top of their game. It's not that. It's a different peak.
It's a different peak.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of peak is it?
I don't. Even the people who said it didn't know. So I don't know. Right. God, chances I like Loki actually did this. Gucci.
Gucci. Like it's good. Like it's Gucci, man. It's
good. All Gucci. It's like kind of like coolly good.
Yeah.
Like it's not subtly good necessarily, because it's not like low-key good. It's like good, but in like not like an extreme like over the top way good. Yeah, that's kind of what I think.
Gucci is like a cool. Whereas Lit is like sick. Gucci is like cool.
Yeah, that
like,
way to translate it into fucking Tony Hawk language.
No, because that's the generational gap, isn't it? It's like,
it is.
So, yeah.
That's funny. The next one is Bunda.
Bunda. Now, this feels like one that I've heard. Bunda. I couldn't tell you, though. I didn't tell
Do you
you
want
what
me to
it
use
is.
it in a sentence?
Yeah, please. You do it in a sentence, yeah.
That girl's got a fat bunda.
Okay, right. So it's arse then, right? Okay,
yeah,
fair
it
enough.
means your ass. I think that might come from like Africa or something, or like another culture. I don't. Oh, apparently it means butt in Portuguese, like straight up.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay. So next, whipped.
So like that, so controlled by someone. So like, you know, your girl's got you whipped. Is like, you know, your girl's got you in a short leash.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
Slay.
Yeah. Well, slay is like, I think it's sort of just now like, yeah, you go, girl. Innit? It's like, you go on, go do that thing. You go do that thing.
Or if someone's slayed, they like, and normally it's normally to do with like appearance. It's slay queen.
If you said like, you know, oh, they slayed that night, I would have been like, oh yeah, they were looking good that night. But if I was about to go do something and you said, yeah, go slay queen, you know, that's like, you go girl. Yeah,
but yeah,
you wouldn't.
We all know what sus means. I don't think we need to do that one.
We don't need to do that.
Fell off. It's weird because when we were thinking about these things, it was like, yeah, and grandma wouldn't know what that means.
Yeah.
So yeah,
just fell off. Fall off your bike.
Fell off means you were at the top of your game.
Yeah. I know that.
Now you fell off, you weren't as good. Yeah. Just in case no one knows, touch grass.
Like, go outside, you fucking disgusting sweaty bastard.
Yeah, you might say this to that idiot last week who was always playing Gran Turismo for the rest of their lives and didn't want to do anything but defend Gran Turismo, for example. Again, you should listen to all our podcasts. Riz.
Riz is like your looks. So like, no, sorry, no, it's not. Riz is like chatting someone up.
Well, it's short for charisma. The Riz in charisma is...
Riz, okay.
Yeah,
I actually never knew that.
Described it better, but still with slang. It's like you've got game is another way you might describe that. It's I had to say it's like you're good at flirting is kind of what it's normally used with.
Yeah.
Mid.
It's like average. It's
middle of the road.
Nothing to write home about.
Drip.
That's fashion. That's like good fashion. Like good. You're wearing some good shit. You got the drip.
Normally in relation to more expensive clothing, but doesn't have to be. Here's one that kind of made me laugh because I guess I knew about it, but I don't think I would have ever used this. Menti B.
Menti? What the fuck?
And this is something you might be... If someone's saying, I'm having a Menti B.
Oh, okay, a mental breakdown. Like, I hate that, and like, immediately I got that afterwards. Like, oh, okay.
It's funny how awful that is. It's like, that's become so common in today's society to have a bit of a mental breakdown. They start, I'm having a bit of a Menti B. That you can just, like, phrase it like that. Oh, my God.
That's awful.
The ick.
It's like, you're ill. You've got the ick, aren't you? Just ill.
No, that's not right.
Oh, is it not?
This is normally it normally refers to like relationships. It's when you're like, it's when someone does something. I guess it don't have to be someone doing something, but it's normally like this. It's normally when someone does something that, like, puts you off them. Typically, it's when you typically might normally like them, but then they do something. It's like, oh, now they've given me the ick.
Okay,
you know. So, like, you might be on a date with a fine ass, with a lady with a big bunda jud, and then she says, I don't fucking know. And she said, you know what? I actually think the Borderlands pre-sequel's better than Borderlands 2. And you'd be like, oh. You know.
Take out a bat and just hit it around back.
Here's my favourite one that we described to Jasmine's Nanan. Bussing.
Like, it's good. Like, the thing is good. I think it's usually in relation to food.
Often in relation to food. I don't think it's supposed to be, actually, but I think
no,
it's not.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of shorthand. It's like a slang way of saying busting, I think. Like busting. Which is supposed to be like, it's blowing up. It's like in your face good. More in your face. It's like straight bussing, you know? Yeah, that's a lot like sick as well. The thing that I liked about trying to describe this, trying to ask an old person what this meant was, she just kept going, bussing. She kept saying it.
Bussing. Yeah.
It just was funny to hear her say bussing over and over again. We've got yeet.
Like now it's like to get rid of something, isn't it? Because I think before it was like specifically throwing something, but now it's like just to get rid of something. I feel.
I guess it's kind of to aggressively, probably recklessly dispose of something, recklessly get rid of something. Normally, recklessly throw something.
But see now, whenever I hear it, it's in a lot more in a lot more of a passive way. So like someone would have like an empty cannon, they'd be like, "Oh, I'm just going to eat this real quick."
Yeah, but it's kind of the same as throwing something. It's like people say, "I'm going to throw this away." What you more mean is I'm going to toss this, I'm going to place this. But they say throw because it's more the most common one. And I think yeet's kind of it's a bit more interchangeable with throw. I guess it's a more extreme version of throw, but because people tend to use the top level of things, like if you dislike something, normally people say, "Oh, I hate that," rather than I mildly dislike it. So anyway. Spill the tea.
Gossip.
Yeah, this one was easy to describe because it's even when I first heard this, I was like, "Oh, you mean spill the beans?"
Yeah.
Which I think might just be British. Like, I can't imagine that that's something that other cultures say, or at least like other English cultures. I don't know. Yeah.
No, America. I'd say that's more of an American thing than it is.
What,
a British
spill the
thing,
beans?
Oh no, I thought you were talking about tea. Like,
no, spill the tea is more of an American thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Well, because Americans are amazed by baked beans. They don't have them, and that's always what I picture when someone's spilling the beans. You know, why would you spill some kidney beans? It don't look so good. No ooze there. Yeah. One of the ooze. It's not so much a spill as a yeet actually when you're doing it with the kidney beans. Stan. If you stan something or someone,
we really like something or that person.
It's supposed to be an over-the-top level, like a dangerous level, in relation to Eminem's hit song "Stan." But people actually just mean like they're a big fan of something with it.
Yeah.
And normally it's in relation to a character, because obviously in the Stan song it's to do with a character. So you might say, "Oh, I stan Spider-Man. I watch everything. I consume everything to do with Spider-Man to an unhealthy degree."
Spider-Man, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling.
Dalton's getting these pretty good.
Song.
He is like 2 seconds old, so that makes sense.
Yeah. I was going to say, this is like his generation slang. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Salty.
You're upset about something.
Yeah,
that one's kind of used all the time now, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a lot of these have genuinely just become part of English. Salty, I would typically say that's like you're upset or annoyed about something, and normally like unreasonably so, as in you maybe shouldn't be that upset about it. Like you're a bit salty about it. I normally kind of see it as that, but I don't think it has to be. Ship.
When you ship someone, you are hoping that they are going to be in a romantic situation with someone else, or you sort of
You would ship
You
two
ship
people
them.
together. You hope that the ship sets the ship sets sails on their relationship. Their relationship
Yeah.
sets sails. I ship them.
Yes, I knew that one.
A snack.
That someone is attractive.
Yes, if someone's a snack,
Mhm.
they're attractive. Is there any more? If chat's got any more, then let us know, and we'll see if we can define any more of these. But I think we've hit a lot of those there. There's kind of a mixed variety of how old they are. Like, for example, I think Whipped's pretty old. You might see that in
I've
early 2000s.
heard that. Like, yeah, Dad'd say Whipped.
Yum. What do you mean yum?
Like what? Like as in you're yum? Like you're sexy? You're hot? Like they're yum?
I don't know about that one. It feels weird. Whatever it is feels weird. Yeah, it's the same as a snack, yum. Ugh, it just feels like a gross sexual way of like appreciating something. Urban Dictionary says a way to express that something tastes good. It can be used as an interjection.
Yeah.
What? Actually, the initial entry for yum just says yum.
Nice.
That's weird. Oh god, for another one is like it on Urban Dictionary for yum. It kind of gives someone using it in like a conversation. So it says, Nicole, oh my god, we should have a sexy party. Jen, totally yum.
Oh god, I really don't like that. I really don't like that.
Yeah, if you've got more hitters with them, and we might, chat about them as I tell Judd about something. Me and Judd are going to have an argument. But maybe.
I ain't got the energy for this shit.
This bit of the podcast you can turn off because you'll not be interested in it. Because we're talking about a game that came out years ago.
All right.
I want to know when it came out. Let me look this up. It came out. Oh, it only came out March last year. Say less as a slang term. Say less. It kind of means like I got you. Like I understand.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
I understand. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So I've been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Judd. Judd,
Yes.
you're not a fan of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, are you? This is a game that's part of.
He says through gritted teeth, yes.
This is part of the Borderlands series.
Yeah.
This is a full game version, isn't it? Because like Borderlands pre-sequel, I guess that was a full game. But was that
they
full
were all
game
full
length?
games?
Yeah, it was. God, GAT. It's a GAT, Judd.
Yeah, a GAT is a gun. A GAT is a gun.
A GAT is a gun, but what's a GAT?
Yeah. A GAT. I don't know. That's it's a guy with a speech impediment holding a gun.
Apparently, it's short term for goddamn, usually in reference to a curvy woman's butt.
Oh, I see.
That's why you can have a GAT.
It's a GAT. Damn, is what that is. It's the full thing.
So it's like an exclamation of like what, but also like it can refer to the butt itself. So Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. It's not got anything to do with kind of the main story at all, other than having Tiny Tina in it. And the only other character that I know of there's two more characters that are in the main franchise that I know of so far. I've not played the whole thing yet. There's Torg and Butt Stallion. Those are the only other ones that I can think of. Oh, Claptrap. That's the other one that's in it.
Yeah. Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done with the slang now. I know what goated means. So here's the thing, right? You scored this game 23 out of 100. You really did not like it.
I hate that fucking game.
I've played a lot of this game now. And I don't get why. I honestly don't understand why. But I want to preface this first with I feel like you're gonna be able to convince me why. I can kind of feel there's something like I'm almost primed to not like it, even though currently my score sits at 67. I really think it's solid. I'm enjoying it. I can definitely identify some problems with it, but they're not bothering me that much. The main reason why I think you're going to struggle with convincing me to not like it, though, as to why it's bad, is to do with a video that I've sent you. I'm going to play this on screen. This is the only game I've ever played where any actions that I do within the game change all the RGB on my computer, and I don't know why it does it. So if I use like a fire ability, all my fans and my like RAM and everything flashes red, and it's same with anything. If I use like a lightning ability, it goes pew, 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 all over it with blue and shit. It's so fucking cool. I don't know why it does it. I never told it to, and it's never done that before.
That's not fair. You get a magical fucking box that like changes colors and shit. Like.
It does that. The game's doing it, not my box. That sounds weird. No other game I've ever played. No other game I've ever played does that. And I've got games on my computer that are newer than Tiny Tina. So I'm like, it just blew my mind when that happened first time. But your computer's got RGB in it as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it did that for me.
Maybe you should check. Do you keep your computer on the floor?
Or maybe I do. Maybe it was doing it on my mouse. I've got a bit of like a memory of it maybe doing something on my mouse.
It probably wouldn't do it on my mouse because of the mouse I've got. I doubt it, but I was impressed that it did that on my computer. I know that's like no, it's so stupid.
That's such
but every time it happens, I look over and I go, cool. And it is dumb, and I'm not letting it influence it a lot. I'm going to tell you what I think of it first, and then I want you to try and not try and convince me, but tell me why you hate it, because I think it could convince me.
The thing is, Lo, I feel like it's been a while, and I feel like I've purposely blocked this game out of my memory.
But as I'm describing stuff, you might you might get it. Now, the first thing that I noticed that could be a big problem that I'm not a fan of, but I don't think matters a lot, is the age rating's been changed, and you can tell. It's T for teen. There's no blood, no alcohol, swearing censored, and stuff like that. They try and censor it in a creative way, which I appreciate.
Immediately we're going to lower that score right on down to a 40.
No, because like I got through multiple hours of the game without even noticing that had happened.
No, fair. No, I've not actually got a problem with that. That a lot of that's to do with the fact that because this is this world is being created by a child, you know, it's like given through the perception of a child.
Psychos and blood and gore and all. I do detriment the game for that. I think it's the universe it's set in and the type of game it is. It should be mature. It would be more funny. It would be better. The kind of the story I think would be benefited by being a mature game, but not massively. That's not taking it down a lot for me. Something I'm not a massive fan of, which is actually a symptom of other Borderlands games, is how your stats work. It's not like it's a little bit hard to figure out. There's loads of like numbers that you have to kind of know as to and bear in mind you get a new piece of gear like every few seconds. So every piece of gear, normally when you're kind of used to it, you can look at a piece of gear immediately and go, I'm not going to need that. But you still have to kind of do that assessment. And there's so many different details of different numbers that you have to track to know what gear is going to be better, what spell's going to be better, what skill points I should put in. It's a bit much. It's not awful. And that's kind of just a problem with other Borderlands games. Borderlands 2 was complicated in that way because it does need to be complicated so that you can like do fun stuff with it, but not overly complicated to the point where it's like, God, let me whip out another calculator again to figure this out all the time. And I genuinely think that after Borderlands 2, because they felt the need to add more stuff per game, it started getting more and more convoluted. So not a massive fan of that. Stuff I do like. I like the guns. The guns in it are really fucking cool. I like that a lot of them are medieval themed. Something I kind of don't like about the medieval setting. Why is there so much pirates? It's supposed to be medieval themed. It's like, I like pirates, but there's a lot of fucking pirates, you know? A big problem, one of the biggest problems I have with it is the difficulty It's so fucking easy. It's super easy. You'll get to I literally just played earlier today a boss where, like, Tina's mad, so she's giving you a fucking hard boss. To her, like, you want a boss? I'll give you a fucking boss. I just went, oh, it's dead. It's like, and I put it on the hardest difficulty as well. I'm normally a guy who puts games on easy, unashamedly. On this one, I thought, I've played a lot of Borderlands, I'll whack it on medium to start with. And then I was thinking, God, this is easy. I wish it was a bit harder. I never think that. I put it on the hardest difficulty, and honestly, it's not even any harder.
Within 6 or 7 hours of me playing that game, I had figured out a combination for the Berserker, the Ice Barbarian, which made me functionally immortal and delete a room like every second. I found that I figured that out by accident. I was just like, oh, I can do this, and
it's not like you've had to think about it long.
No. I'd went, oh wait, I do this and this, and then look, I win. I've just won. I've won all of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Yeah, and that's a shame. Normally, see, in other Borderlands games, that's not so much a problem, because you could almost, not that powerful necessarily, but you could almost achieve that sort of thing, but you couldn't do it unless you'd grinded the same, like, bosses to get certain items for hours, for a long time, and then you could build the perfect build, and you could take on, like, crazy raid bosses, essentially. And that was a lot of the big appeal. In this, it's just like, you don't even need to do any of that. You don't need to find good gear or anything. It's all just really fucking good.
Yeah, which will bring me on to mine and probably everybody's biggest problem with Tiny Tina's Wonderland is there is no endgame content for that.
Yeah,
and the endgame content, the endgame content was the reason why a lot of people played Borderlands, because it was like you say, it was doing those like runs and beating those bosses and grinding over and over again to get those like perfect, like percentage perfect legendary drops to have like the perfect like build for a character.
It was almost like shiny collecting Pokemon.
Yeah, it was. But the thing is, with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the only thing that you can do after the game is run the fucking dungeons over and over again. There's like 4 different dungeons locations, and it's literally the same thing every time you do it. And also, the DLC was just more dungeons. Not like, an entire new storyline like every other Borderlands game has had before that. It just went, nah, just run through the same, like, 5 different types of enemies again. That'll tide you over. Why not?
I guess they would expect you to go back to the bosses in the story and do those bosses again. Kind of like a lot of the endgame bosses were. A lot of endgame bosses in... especially if you got the DLC in Borderlands 2 as well, were part of the story. Like, some of them were side quests as well, and a lot of bosses in Tiny Tina's are from side quests as well. So, I guess, like, in a way, I can see how they thought they'd implemented that. But for me, it's not... The reason why I can understand there being no endgame, obviously I've not completed it yet, so I don't know that there's no endgame, but the reason why I can believe it is mostly because of the difficulty, because it's so easy. It doesn't need to be an endgame. There's no endgame because there's no grinding to get your gear to be able to fight the really hard versions of the bosses, because everything's so fucking easy. It's like the structure for the endgame's there. It's just that you need to... It needs to be harder. That's all it needs to be, really. And I never thought I'd be saying that about a game. That's a big reason why I've knocked it down. Another thing that I want to mention is, like there's a lot of gay people in this game.
Yeah, and this one of the things is that I complained a lot about this game when I first play it is the character. What's his? I'm trying it's identify as a guy. What's his name?
You mean Paladin Mike?
Paladin Mike, yeah. Paladin Mike was slapped front and center, right at the front of every promotional art and piece for that game, wherever they could. Any trailer, Mike was right at the front. He was right at the front of any posters or anything like that. How much have you actually talked to Paladin Mike in that game, Jake?
I did a quest, and they were there on that quest.
A bit on
Well,
that quest.
they were
there.
there when I started. I talked to them to start the quest, and that was kind of it, really.
Yeah. That's it. And that's like basically all the interaction you have with Paladin Mike. He's not like a main character. He's not like a stick him on your poster because like, oh look, all the Avengers are here. They're all looking off in different directions while Thanos stands there with the Infinity Gauntlet, and oh look in the bottom right hand corner's Paladin Mike. It's like what
For
the
me,
fuck? What's Paladin Mike doing here?
That's not a problem with the game, though. That's a problem with the marketing.
No, I know. That's a problem with the marketing. And that is a problem. It's a problem with fucking Gearbox going, oh, look, we've got a trans character. Aren't we good for having a trans character? And it's like, great. Can you give that trans character, like, I don't know, a little bit of character?
Yeah, we're going to say the first thing you've got to do, like, if you're going to include them so much in the marketing, they better be a big part of the game. And you know what you better fucking make sure is that they're a good character then, because what pisses us off all the time is you're shoved these characters that are trans or gay or like different races or whatever, you know, all the different types of minorities you can have. We see a lot of it nowadays in media. That's not a problem at all. The problem is you're being shoved them, and then but they lazily come up with these characters. They don't give a shit about the characters. They don't give a shit about them being gay or trans or whatever like that being a positive thing to do with them. They just make a trans character, they're really shit and annoying, and then they shove it right in your face. It's like, fuck me. Please, for the love of God. I understand that you want more diverse characters, you want more trans characters in your media. Good. That means we've got more diverse types of characters, which means there's more chance for more interest in your characters. Why? Time after time, whenever you see a trans character, they're awful.
I know.
But people are so shit at making trans characters. They're so shit at it. I don't get it. Do you know what? Do you know a game that I will actually commend for this in a weird... I never thought I'd be doing this. Apex Legends. In fact, the latest character that they released is trans. And while I wouldn't say that they're amazing, like they're not an amazing character that I think's like really deep and or anything like that. You know, they're at least not like annoying as fuck, which is what you get out of all the other ones. And it blows my mind because it's like, how do you keep doing that specifically to that group of people? Yeah, like it shouldn't be any more hard to make an interesting and enjoyable to be around or experience story with trans character than it should any other type of character. And then people fuck it up all the time. I'm glad Paladin Mike's not in it more because they're just annoying. They're not the most annoying, but they're just annoying. And then you've got like them skeleton pirates that are gay as well. And I thought I was
don't even remember that.
Like,
I don't.
The pirates like that. I don't know. I don't think that would happen much. But then again, I'm also thinking.
I don't think these pirate skeletons would be gay. Come on now, Tina.
This is the
now
other
you're
thing.
living in a fantasy world.
Well, pirates would not admit to being gay if they were. I swear they wouldn't.
No,
but,
I'm sure they would.
When I think
It'd be
about
like a power thing.
When I think about it more, I kind of think this is meant to be like a fantasy world that doesn't exist, and a teenage girl's coming up with it. I just think that overall it doesn't matter, but it's a bit like So I didn't take score down for there being more gay people than is realistic. Because that doesn't make sense, because who fucking cares? It's a fantasy world that's made up by a teenager. That'd be ridiculous. But, like, I guess having to interact with Paladin Mike could bring it down a point, because I don't like that character. Then, I don't know, I guess some of the writing's a bit naff sometimes, but...
A lot of the writing's pretty fucking naff. It's got... The Gearbox are clinging so tightly onto this fucking millennial writing shtick. It pisses me off.
I enjoyed the writing in this more than Borderlands 3.
But I mean, Borderlands 3 had a lot of shit writing moments, so I'm not gonna sit here and defend Borderlands 3 for its writing.
I think it's because Borderlands 3 needed to be taken more seriously. This is like, again, it's a teenage girl's made-up story. Even in the story of Borderlands 3 is obviously made up by someone at Gearbox, but the story in Tiny Tina's is made up by someone at Gearbox and also then made up by Tina. You know, it's like, it's not even a real story within that universe. So it really, it doesn't need to kind of be respected, if that makes sense so much. So it fits that style of writing a lot more, I think. Mm-hmm. So I genuinely think it's better. There's not a single boss or quest I could tell you about. Literally not a single one I could tell you about from Borderlands 3. None. Not even what happens in the end. I don't actually even remember what happens in that entire game. It's that forgettable. In Tiny Tina's, I could tell you multiple, and I know I've just played it, but I genuinely think give me a year and I'll be able to tell you a few. Just a few. I'll be able to tell you the general thing that happens. Jesus Christ, that was loud of me. Thanks for Direct74 for following on Kick. Holy shit. That blew my ears off. I genuinely think it's written better. Yeah. And I give it 67. That's overall less than Borderlands 3, because I think there's other things that... Not much less, though. There's other things that kind of bring it down. But yeah, Judd, tell me your thoughts on it, and...
I don't know. It's just little thing like that Paladin mic thing's like, it's not a big thing, but it's definitely something that pisses me off. Then this is a much smaller thing. I hate the fucking overworld. I hate the like tabletop.
I knew you wouldn't like
overworld. Yeah, I hate that because it's like, to me, that then doesn't feel like. And to be honest with you, none of the other Borderlands were really truly open world games, because they were like loading screens and shit. But it's like, I don't know, you just walk from one area to another, and like, you know, there'd be a loading screen, but then you get to that next place. I don't know. It's such a small thing, and I don't expect this to change.
That sounds like you're just bitching. That is not a bad thing, really.
This is a me thing, and it's a me thing. I don't know why, but that just really fucking. I don't know why, but I didn't see it sit right with me. Then another thing was just like, a lot of the quests are just the same quest again.
I knew you were going to say that as well.
A different escape, but it is a lot of it is.
That's Borderlands. If you go back and play Borderlands 2, a lot of the quests are the same thing. If you really think about it, a lot of them are, you just go and fucking shoot a thing, and then you pick a thing up and you bring it back.
They'll have like different, like at least different stories to them, basically. Like it'll still be walk over, press X on thing, or go over and shoot thing, but each of them will at least have some sort of like setup or story that makes that quest unique. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, she doesn't do that. She literally just, you'll walk into an area, she'll go, some beddos have this thing, go get them, chump, and that's it. And you go.
I don't know, Chief.
And no, that is what happens. But then you know, we look at, I don't know, we look at one quest from Borderlands 2, which is literally walking around picking up echo logs, which is the one where you have to go find the assassins that are hunting Lilith and the other sirens, and that all has a story to it. Yeah. There's another quest which is also walking around picking up echo units, which is about all the weird slag experimentation that's going on in the wildlife preserve.
Yeah,
and both of them have very. Well, that's fine, but like both of them have like stories to them that make those quests like that define those quests, that set them apart from each other. Like nothing sets apart Tina saying, "Go shoot those pedos for that thing," to the other time when she said, "Go
that's literally just like that from Tiny Tina's. There's a quest where you go and pick up parts, which is more interesting inherently, by the way, because it's not just echo logs. You go and pick up parts of this dude's son. Do you remember this quest? This guy wakes up on a beach, not knowing what the fuck's happened to him. You're picking up parts. Yeah. It's kind of based on Pinocchio, but it's a bit different.
Yeah, I feel like I did this quest. I feel like I did it.
And at each step of the way, you hear echoes of this evil voice that pieces together what might have happened to this dude's son, and you have to do different things along the way. You're not just picking them up. You have to fight some bad guys that's like, you know, tried to deter him from this path over and over again, because apparently his memory keeps wiping. You keep piecing together bits more of this story, and eventually you actually manage to get all the pieces of this guy's son and revive his son, but he ends up dying in the process. Like, Dude, it's the same fucking thing.
I know what you're talking about, but the thing is, these are in. There's two different types of locations in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Borderlands, whatever the fuck it is. That you have the locations where you'll have like actual locations, like the place that you're talking about, where you'll be able to go around and you'll be able to like do the main story quests, and you'll be able to do side missions and stuff. And those side missions will have like interesting stories attached to them. But that's not every location in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. You'll find that a lot of the locations are just these dungeons or just these little things where you can literally just run around and shoot minions and have these recycled, boring quest lines. So it's not that there's no unique quest lines in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. It's that there's few, and a lot of the game has been padded out with these just shit little locations that you don't really do anything at. So it's not every quest. There's quite a few. There's quite a few.
I've gone through like a good 6+ of no more. I've done easily more that's on that caliber. I must have done like 12 quests that's on the same caliber as that.
But every quest was the same caliber as that.
You are remembering wrong, 100%. Borderlands, no Borderlands game has every side quest be at that level of depth in its story. Multiple side quests. Judd, Borderlands 2, there's a quest where you punch someone in the face. You can't tell me that's got more depth. Now, that is a good thing. Don't get me wrong, that's a good thing. But you can't say, then, that every quest in one of your favourite games of all time had that level of depth, because they just straight up fucking didn't. There's gonna be some filler quests, and that's a good thing.
But you remember the punch the guy in the face quest? You remember
Judd, you're not listening to my point. What I'm saying is, because that exists, you can't say that every quest in Borderlands 2 had interesting depth to it. It's because it didn't. The reason why that punch the guy in the face quest was good is because it didn't have interesting depth to it. There's a similar quest in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands where this dude really wants to fly. Please go get this scroll, it'll help me fly. What it does do to help him fly is it turns him into a meteor. And he goes, It's the same level of shit, and that one's not quite as funny, I'm going to be honest, but like, I've not rated it as highly, but I just think like you can't think that every quest in Borderlands 2, which I'm going to use as the gold standard for Borderlands, was an interesting quest. There's like a good, I would say, like maybe a sixth of quests in Borderlands 2 were relatively just like fetch quest, shoot some stuff.
Okay. Okay. It was. But
this is genuinely surprising me, by the way, because I thought you were going to tell me these things and I'm going to go, you're right, actually, maybe I should lower this. But what I'm finding is, like, I'm thinking, what the fuck are you on about?
I just didn't like it. I just didn't think it was, like, on the same par as the other ones.
I can understand it not feeling right because it's rated T for teen. Maybe that's the thing that makes a big difference, but I honestly think it's a solid game.
I feel like there was something that happened at the end that I just fucking despised as well, but I genuinely
Well, we'll see, because I've still got the end bit to go through, so that's entirely possible. But unless you've got any other thoughts on it, I think that your score is way too harsh. I can't believe you think this is worse than the pre-sequel.
Yeah, because at least the pre-sequel like gave you more story. Like this just feels like, I don't know. It just in the end it just feels like nothing. Because I know it's all make believe at the end of the day, but it's like we have this universe that we're heavily invested in, and shit's going down in the universe. Like, you know, we want to know shit. And we've got this little side thing where it's like, look, you guys liked the DLC from Borderlands 2. Now it's a full game, and it's just, I don't know, it feels
like you're doing a signature Judd hating on something move, where you wanted the game to be something, it wasn't that, so therefore you dislike it. It's like, how good is it at being what it is? Like, that's kind of...
Pretty bad.
No, it's not. Bad. It's not. It's definitely not perfect. There's definite flaws in it, but I like it. I think it's good. I don't think it's bad at all. The pre-sequel is 100% the worst Borderlands game.
Well, no. Now I'm gonna have to disagree with you that. But it's not Tiny Tina's Wonderlands either.
What is it?
It's Tales from the Borderlands 2.
Oh, I've never even seen that. So
that is the worst Borderlands. There's no hope left for that franchise. It is dead in the fucking water. It is dead. I have my claptrap tattoo lasered off my fucking leg.
So you've not rated on our spreadsheet Tales from the Borderlands 2. Should we finish off this getting to be a long podcast with rating it? Or?
Well, I mean, we can. I haven't played it. I refuse to play it. I've seen bits from it, and bits count because it's literally a Tales game, so it's all just story.
Yeah, well, the reason why I've rated the first Tales from the Borderlands is I watched someone do a full playthrough of it, and,
Yeah.
That's enough to say you've played through it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
But this is the thing. I don't think you should rate it unless you've watched at least like 80% of a playthrough.
No,
of it.
I won't. I think I'd like throw up in my hands and die. Like, no, I'm not watching any more of that.
How can you say that when you? Okay, fine.
I've seen clips. I just said I've seen clips from it, but I'm not going to sit and watch all of that cancer, absolute cancer, as a fucking stain on the Borderlands franchise.
Well, obviously your opinions are weird at this point, Jed. I don't know what's going on with you. So, anyway, hopefully you can let us know whether you liked Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I know the game's been out for fucking forever, but that's how I don't play games when they come out now because money, and I have too much to do anyway. Just by the way, coming up soon, October, there's 3 games coming out that I'm really excited for, none of which I think you will want to play. There's the new Assassin's Creed game.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
And UFC 5.
If I could play that, I'd want to. Yeah, no, I think the only thing I'd be interested there is Spider-Man.
It's in a PS5, Judd. Fuck it. Right, last thing I'm going to mention, if you've made it through this entire podcast, remember, we have I should have mentioned this at the top of the podcast, I don't know why I didn't. We've got a 200 podcast special on the 16th of September, starting between 4 and 5 p.m. UK time. It's going to be fucking lit, bruh. It's going to be so sweet. And then we've also got, I think the weekend after that, I might end up doing a stream for the Misfits 9 card. If you want to come and watch that with me, Judd, you can. It's not a big one, so don't worry about it. Then the weekend after that, potential to watch Vidal Riley fight. Maybe I'll do that on stream. Just follow @TweetsBadly on X, aka Twitter, to find out. But the other main one that you need to put in your diaries that we will be doing, 14th of October, KSI versus Tommy Fury. That one's definitely going to happen, so yeah. Main ones is 16th of September, 200 podcast, and 14th of October, KSI versus Tommy Fury stream. Well, hey, that's the end of the podcast, you bitch. Bye. Right, okay. I'll end that there. That went on